Jai Hind everyone, welcome again to the Patriotic IAS. Let's start our IAS PCSwala daily current affairs analysis, daily news analysis. So we will see that near about the 11 topic that we are going to cover for the today's analysis. So let's see that the topic that we are going to analyze. The first topic that is for the, this is from the India and Ukrainian foreign minister is into the India, and there was a discussion between the Indian foreign minister and the this Ukrainian foreign minister. So we will see that what is the outcome. So it will be for the means India and Ukraine relationship. Okay, so this will be part of GS paper 2 international relations. Whenever we have to write a answer for the relationship between India, Ukraine and Russia, this is very much useful. This information are useful. Okay, so it will be for the mains. Okay, after that we will study that the government extend validity of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Here we will see that there is the provision for the renewal of the license for the getting foreign contribution and foreign donation to the those NGO who are registered, or they have to get the renewable. So we will see it will be for the GS paper 2 under the governance section for the mains. Okay. Then we will study that notify norms to make movies accessible to the disabled person. So here it is again the High Court reiteration of its order that please make the movies for the those people who are the disabled as well, because already we have the act that support the accessibility of the disabled. So again it will be for the means. Then we will study that what is the case of the Indian democracy, and against this electoral bond is into the public domain. Lot of debate is that. So there is the one more angle that what is the need of the huge money for the democracy. So despite this electoral bond, we don't have that much money that is being spent as per the different political parties. Okay, so it will be for the mains. Then we will study the balancing act on the fiscal deficit. Again, here we will study about the basics about the what is the fiscal deficit and what are the laws associated with it. So it will be for the prelims. Then we will study that flight from the fatigue. So here the DGCA rules with respect to the safety and security of the those who are the pilots and the other personnel, those who are involved into the civil aviation. This create, if there is the fatigue for the pilots, it will create a safety measure for the whole aeroplane and the passenger. There could be the chances of the accident. So there has been the notification, but it has been again the withdrawal and the delay. So we will study it with respect to the mains perspective. Then we will study that human-dog relationship. Already there has been a lot of such incident and accident and events of the attack by the dog. So we will see that what is the relation between dogs and the human, how that could be resolved. Then we will study the identity, statehood and the conundrum of the citizenship. Here we will study the Matua community and basics about the Matua community. Again, it will be for the prelims. We know the basics about the Matua community and Matua sex. And for the mains, how the different people had the different perspective with respect to the Citizenship Amendment Act. So we will study under that. Okay. Then on the 9th number, after India's biggest jailbreak, this is a case study of the Ajay Kanu, one of the Maoists. Now he is living a normal life. So we will see that what was the condition of the Bihar in 1990s, 1980s to 2000. So we will see that how the Maoism was there and how it is spread and how it was curbed. So it will be for the internal security, GS paper 3, so mains specific. Then we will study that water was into the Kuttanad wetland. So Kuttanad wetland, it is considered as the unique place where the rice cultivation takes place below the sea levels. So this is very here. This area is facing the water scarcity and water pollution. So again, it will be for the mains and few of the fact that can be used into the prelims as well. In the last, we will study this GEM and what this platform, how this digital platform for the marketing provide some of the equality for the trading. Okay, so we will study about this as well. So again, this will be for the men's perspective. So let's start with the front page, and the front page is this is a political news. Grand Alliance announced the Bihar seat sharing. So here the interesting thing is that in this sharing of the seats, the major parties was RJD and the Congress. The Congress got 9 seats and 26 seats for the RJD. Remaining 5 seats has been distributed among the CPI, ML, CPI and the CPIM. So there is the different branches of the CPI, different parties on the different ideology of the communism. So there is we know that the communism and the socialism, there are a lot of definition, and on the lot of ideological definition they have the different parties, and that's why the Communist Party of India is not strong in India, despite there is the 12 near about the major 12 parties that belong from the Communist Party. Okay. The one interesting thing is that the Rajesh Ranjan, that is also known as the Pappu Yadav, he wanted to contest for the Purnia, but it was not given to the Congress. And Pappu Yadav recently joined the Congress, and he merged his party, Jan Adhikar Party, into the Congress. So this is a point where both party of the alliance, they do not have the common ground. But yes, however, his wife Ranjit Ranjan, she is going to contest from the Rajya Sabha, and she is going to contest from the Chhattisgarh. Okay. Beside that, we see that Amim, All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin, this is the party. This is going to contest into the Bihar on the 16th seat, and from the Siwan, this party is going to support the wife of the uh, strongman Muhammad Sahabuddin. Okay, Muhammad Sahabuddin. So please, he died into the COVID-19. Next important news that is again interesting, that is not that much relevant for the UPSC. This is the allegation from the Congress that BJP is using the tax terrorism. So misuse of the tax authorities, tax bodies such as the income tax into the freezing of the account, penalizing for the small error and the fault, that is known as the tax terrorism. So Congress is of the view they will approach to the Election Commission of India with respect to this. Okay. This is the relevant news. This is talking about the discussed peace formula with the Ukrainian foreign minister. So Ukrainian foreign minister is India, so that it can convince India to participate into the ongoing peace process, that is peace meeting that is to be held into the Switzerland. So here you should know that what is the India's stand. India said that yes, we are now well aware of what is the condition into the Ukraine after the meeting with the foreign minister Kuleba. His name is the Dmitry Kuleba. So please remember what is the name of the Ukrainian foreign minister that is on the visit to the India. His name is the Dmitry Kuleba, because in the prelims they can ask that recently there was a visit from the foreign minister, and they can ask either the name of the country or the name of the foreign minister itself. Okay. So this is particularly for the upcoming peace process that is to be held into the Switzerland. Exact date is not declared that when it will be hosted. Maybe it could be in the June or the July. Okay. Here the prospect of the summit is has been rejected from the Russian foreign ministry. They are not agree with the whatever the condition that was enumerated by the Ukrainian president into the 2020, that is known as the 10-point peace plan. So Russia is not agreed with any of this point, and Russia think that they are not for the peace process. This is just a type of the manipulation. Okay, so here they have said that it is not the, it is like the alchemy. It is not the peace talk. It is the alchemy. Okay, so it is in the words of the foreign minister of the Russia. Okay. So here we see that all this thing that is going on, already we know that what is the India's stand. India is not taking any drastic measure against the Russia, that we should be very careful. India is very cautiously taking steps in the case of this war. Okay. So this is all about, you should be clear about. Next important topic that we are going to take is the notifying norms to the make movies accessible to disabled persons. So this is from the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court has asked the center, please notify the guideline to the all the filmmakers and the directors that please make all your films that should be the accessible to the person with the disability, such as the hearing and visual disability. And what they need to bring, they need to include the audio description and subtitle and closed captions in all films. That is missing, and already such provision is existing into the Right to Person with the Disabilities Act, already passed 5 years back. So this is already law, but the law is not implemented, and it is due to the violation because the one thing is that the number of the disabled person that they do not constitute a huge constituency for the leaders. The first thing is that. Second is that there are not that much, there is not the economic prospect of adding all these things. But yes, there is the law and you have to follow. You don't have to do all the things for the benefit, but the many times you have to do for the social justice. And here it justified that the people who are disabled, who are physically disabled, they deserve, they have the right for the a better treatment. So this is all about from the here. Next important news that we are going to take is the news with respect to the government extend validity of the FCRA registration of the NGO till June 30. So there has been the continuous extension of this validity. We have seen that this is the 9 times that this validity has been extended from the 2021. So as per the rule, please remember this rule that this is the Ministry of Home Affairs that deals with the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So here it is the difference with this FEMA and this FCRA. FEMA is that comes under the Ministry of the Finance Affairs. Okay. So here these NGOs or the association, they are required to get this renewal of this FCRA every 5 years. So please remember it is for the every 5 years that needs to be renewable, and that is the compliance and there is the cost, and that's why very many times the NGO do not able to fulfill such things, and for that they have to pay, and they have to pay the cost for that. So this is the complication. Okay, so this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, this provide the procedure through which the foreign contribution and the foreign donation can be received by the and utilized by the this association and or this NGO. Okay, so here we see that the continuous there has been the extension. This is the list 9 times. Okay. Here the order says that if the application of renewal of the FCRA registration is refused, or there is no application for the renewable and this expired, so it will expire from the date of the refusal. If there is a refusal for the renewable, so this is the case, then it will be expired and those NGO cannot utilize their fund, or they cannot even receive the fund or the donation. This is the case, and that's why it's have become a bit controversial. We have seen that there has been the 6,000 NGO for which there has been their registration has been seized from the operating, and either due to the refusal from the Ministry of Home Affairs to give the further renewable. And now the number of this NGO with the FCRA that has reduced to the 16,000. It was previously 22,000. So this is the case, and many a times the government has been criticized for the such activities and the actions they are the drastic action that is being taken against these NGOs. Okay. Next important news that we are going to take is the bonds, big money and an imperfect democracy. So here it is talking about the how the electoral bond like the scheme and program make the democracy more dysfunctional. What is the case? Generally, what is the relation between the electorates and those who vote, citizens and the representatives? So this is talking about that there is the gap between the what is professed and the actual result, actual behavior of the representative on the ground. The most important thing here it is discussed that the electoral bond scheme that's talk about it will bring more transparency and accountability, but it failed and Supreme Court find it unconstitutional. After that, when you analyze that what is the main role of the representative, they are about to serve the people, but the whom they serve the vested interest. Who are the vested interest? Those who pay. And they show the representative or the our legislature, our politician shows that the interest of those who are into the power, into the business, they are the more important, and that is the national interest. For example, if there is the projection that if there will be the corporatization of the agriculture, so it will projected in front of the people like it will benefit the farmers. It is hide the in the hidden form. It is not shown that yes, actual benefit will go to the those who are into the business, those corporates. Okay, so this is the writer here want to say that the vested interest are often portrayed as the being the national interest. This is the interest of the nation, but in the reality, those are not interest of the nation. Because you see that if we have served our marginalized people, we will not have now that much poverty, hunger, illiteracy, the lack of quality of education. Take the quality of education. Recent ACER report, that is the annual status of the education report, that talk about 40% of the student who the age of those between 14 to 18 years, they are not able to read or write or do simple mathematics of the class standard 2. Those who are between 14 to 18 years, they are expected that they will be into the class 8, 9, 10, something like that. But they are not able to do the normal thing, normal mathematical calculation of the standard 2. They are not able to read the simple Hindi or the English paragraph sentences. That is the level. Why the quality of education is not there? We have not focused on the quality of education. And when it is projected that yes, you are not working into the interest of the marginalized, so it was projected that all this thing of the poverty and lack of the education, all this thing are the natural. These are not man-made, and there will be the existence, such type of the illiteracy or the inequality, it is bound to exist, okay? And it is depend upon the market forces. Government cannot do in this area. But in the reality, if the government want, they can provide good education, good health, and good public services to the people. Next paragraph, the writer is want to discuss that the money and the election. Generally, where the money is being spent. Mostly we see that the election are fought on the basis of the caste, community, and region. All these are the things that, these sentiments that are evoked during the elections. And in the elections, generally the money was spent on the crowd, to pay the crowd for mobilization, to show their strength. There is a lot of money that is spent for the on the transportation cost or the paid workers. All these things go, and yes, there is other expenditure such as the for the banners, for the cutouts, for the hiring muscles main. All these things need money. Okay. So generally, the expenditure that goes for the parliamentary election for the one seat, one candidate, it is near about the 50 crore. It is much more than the legal ceiling. This is the 95 lakh that is allowed for the expenditure for the parliamentary constituency. So where this money of the 49 crore will comes? They comes from the illegal means, and that's bring the illegality, illegal funding. Okay. So writer want to bring here the point that this was the electoral bond that was brought to fund this illegal need of the money, and this made this bribery white. So it made it legal, this illegal money that is needed for this electoral funding, and there is much more other form of the money that has been provided into the illegal form other than electoral form as well. Okay, so those political parties could utilize the fund for the various purposes beyond the elections, because this money are not restricted that you will use into this form. So this political party, they use for the setting their offices, even to purchase the different MLAs into the different states to destabilize the state government if that is from the different party. Okay. So opposition-led government that has been destabilized. Here the other thing that was lacuna, that was 7.5% of the profit, that was the limit before the electoral bond scheme. That companies, those who are benefiting, they cannot pay, they cannot fund more than 7.5%. Even before the scheme, there was such illegal funding, but it was that there was always chances that it was declared illegal. But by electoral bond, you are making those illegal thing legal, those black money, white money. So you are legalizing the illegal thing. So this is the thing. Okay, it is not that before the electoral bond, everything was fine. No, the thing was that already there was the illegal money. But illegal money was the illegal before this scheme. But after this scheme, this made illegal money legal money. This is the main issue. Even it allowed for the payment and payment from the foreign companies, as well as it led to the formation of the cell companies as well. So this is the issue. Beside that, there was the 15 days that was given before the submission and the purchase. Okay, so here this 15 days allowed to trade between the different people and the donor. So donor identity can be concealed. Okay. Here we see the cronyism uncovered. What was the case with this electoral bond? It was used to favor the policy makers. Okay, so give the money and get the favor as per your own need. So this was the thing that was used. The second thing is to avoid the prosecution for the wrongdoings. And the third is that investment for the future. For many of these companies, this political funding was to the opposition party. They were thinking that if the opposition party will come into the power, in that case, our future will be safe. So same company paid to the party into the power as well as the party into the opposition. So they were more smarter. They wanted to just not thinking, they were not thinking about the just budget. They showed opposition party that we are favoring you as well. They were into the good book of the political party, those who are into the power and those who are into the opposition. Here the thing is with these companies, that many of these companies and businesses, they are fearful of the laws and complexity of the laws. In the Indian case, there is the lot of complication whenever you have to follow and be compliant with the law. For example, just if you have some NGO, I am facing the same issue. I have NGO, we run a NGO, but whenever we have to go for the paperwork, there are a lot of the paperwork we have to do, and we are not able to know that what papers and for how we have to fill up. There are the 50 pages, 60 pages of the form that we have to fill on a regular basis. So it make us exposed to those exploitation from the different professionals such as the CAs, CS, and they exploit their advantageous position. So in the same manner, the business people, they are not aware of how many laws are there, how many laws we have to follow. Even they go for these CAs, CS and the lawyers for the paperwork, but still they exploit lot. And beside that, even if they are not able to fill up this form, they are in the fear that this tax department and investigation offices and the body, if they found any of the mistakes or any of the error, they will go for the prosecution. This is the case for the safety of such instances, to prevent themselves from such prosecution. They pay the fund by the electoral bond. They have done so. Okay. So some of the businesses, they were not doing anything wrong, but they pay into the fear of any of the prosecution in the case of if they have made any error or the mistake. Okay. The most important thing here, those who are negatively impacted, these are the businesses and companies, because they were not knowing that in the future there will be the Supreme Court case and Supreme Court will declare unconstitutional and all their name will be come to the public. Now they are into the, they have the such exposure, there could be the chances that there could be the investigation against them. And if not the investigation, even the opposition party, maybe in the future, they will take the vendetta, such a revenge. So there is the cases that they are going to be negatively impacted. Okay. And beside that, you also see that such a money that is invested into the politics and elections, that is not necessary in a good democracy, in a healthy democracy. So these schemes like these electoral bonds. They bring the secrecy of the electoral bond, and this is not good for this democracy, and that underscores the growing weakness in the Indian democracy. So this is the situation that has been discussed here. Okay. So one of the question that we can write, because electoral bond is so much in the news, there could be the chances in the means the UPSC can ask the question. So please write the answer. Note down the question. The electoral bond scheme underscores the growing weakness in the Indian democracy. Analyze. It will be for the 250 votes and 15 marks. I have taken this from the directive from this line. Electoral bond scheme underscore the growing weakness in the Indian democracy. You can write whole of your answer based on this article. So what should be your starting point? Your starting point should be that what is the intended benefit of the electoral bond that was thought when it was introduced. Okay. So after that you should bring the inherited weakness, because there was so much anonymity, and this anonymity created a secrecy, and that is not good for a healthy democracy, because it is against the right to information of the normal people. So you should bring all this thing inherited weakness. Further, you should link the impact of those weaknesses to the Indian democracy, how it negatively impacted. Further, you should link all these things. And in the last, you should conclude with the needed electoral reform that is needed to bring our democracy more robustness to our democracy. So you have to conclude with the needed electoral reform, such as you can bring the in one line, just the committee, such as the Goswami committee for the state funding, or and there was the Abhijit Gupta committee for the electoral reform. Okay, Indrajit Gupta, and he was from the CPI. Okay, so please be very careful of all these things. Write the answer. We will upload the model answers for this question, and you can self-assess by the matching the point there, whether your answer is as per aligned with this answer or not. So this should be the approach. Next important news that we are going to take is a balancing act, and it is with respect to the fiscal deficit that India is facing. Okay. So what is the India's target and what we have achieved, that has been discussed in this editorial news. So it is talking that recently we saw that into the previous month, the overall the deficit was the 11 lakh crore. Okay. And we saw that it was in the January, and just into the February it becomes the 15 lakh crore. So there has been the 4 lakh of the increase into this deficit from the January to February. Means in the 9th month it was 11 month. By the 10th month it has become the 15. So just in 1 month it is the 4 lakh crore that has increased, that give a concern, because now we have fixed that out of all this 12 months, in 1 year, we will reach for this 17 lakh of the deficit, 17.3 lakh crore. That should be our aim, that is the target. And in the 9 month we have the 11 crore. So we were in the relaxed mode, that yes, we will easily go and we will reach. But now it has become the 15 lakh in the Feb, and now still we have the March and April, and the target is the 17 lakh crore. Okay, so this shows that is a dramatic jump. So this is the cause of concern. Here it has compared that in the previous year into the same duration from the January to Feb, it was just 82% from the 67%. So it was just this percentage are out of the 1 years that was fixed for the 17 crore. So 82% of the 17 crore, 67% of the 17 crore. Here again this 17.3 and again this 16%, 63% that was into the January, that is of the this 17 crore, and this 15 crore that is out of the percentage of the this 17 crore that has reached to the 86%. So this year it is from the 63% to the jump to the 86%, that is near about 26% of the jump, not 26, 23%. Okay, 23% increase. Last year it was 67 to the 82, so it was 15%. So still it was bearable. So this is here discussing the article that is discussing that what is the reason for this jump in for the 4th crore. The most important reason is that the center has transferred 2.15 lakh crore to the state. This is the main reason. Previous year it was not that much. Okay, previous year it was just 1.4 lakh crore. So 1 lakh crore increase in that. Beside that, we have increased the capital expenditure. Last year it was for the 47 lakh crore, 47,000 crore. This year it is the 84,000 crore. So here it is all given that what is the reason, what we want to achieve. You should know the what is the basics of the fiscal deficit. This is very important for the prelims. You should know. So what is the definition of the fiscal deficit? Simple term, it is the government expenditure minus the government receipts, and this receipt doesn't include the borrowing. For example, if I am earning just take if I am earning 20,000 rupees on a monthly basis and my expenditure is the 25,000. So 5,000 that I am spending extra, that is known as the fiscal deficit, and those income that is 20,000 per month, that is only my income. This shouldn't be include the borrowing. It shouldn't be that in the my salary is the 15,000 and 5,000 I have taken borrowing, because the borrowing will be not included. So if the 5,000 that is extra, that is known as the fiscal deficit, and that is paid by the borrowing. Now I take the borrow to this equalize this expenditure and my income, and borrowing money will show the difference between my income and the expenditures. This is the basic you should know. If there is the high fiscal deficit, what is the it indicates? It indicates there is the inflationary pressure, there is the rise in the interest rates. That's why my expenditure will increase. These are the things. Generally, why your expenditure will increase? If there is the inflation, if you are going to buy a vegetable that cost for the more, generally it is the 100 rupees and now it becomes the 200 rupees. So your expenditure will increase. If you go for take the loan from the banks, and the bank's interest rate has increased, so you have to pay more interest. So all these things show that there is the high fiscal deficit, crowding out of the private investment and increased debt burden for the future generation. So we have the laws to manage this fiscal deficit because it's create the burden on the future generation. So we have to take care of the not the only this generation, we have to take care of the need of the future generation, and that's why we brought the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003 and stock that your fiscal deficit should be limited and it should be restricted. Now we have restricted 3% of the GDP, that should be the fiscal deficit, and we have to achieve it by the 2029-30. Okay. Initially, the fiscal deficit, now the condition is that we have for the next month we have aimed for the 4.5% of the GDP. Okay, so mostly this is the current or the operational expenditure. This comes from the we count it into the revenue deficit. So revenue deficit when it is the revenue expenditure and the revenue receipts. Okay, so here, what is the current scenario? Previous year, the fiscal deficit was the 6.4%. We have targeted for this year, it should be the 5.9%. That revised it was brought to the 5.8%, and we are targeting by the 2025-2026, means next year, we will reach by the 2 or 4.5%. So please remember this data. They are important, and most important data is the 3% that we want to target for the 2029 and the 30, and it was brought by the amendment into the this Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003, and it was amended in 2023 to brought it to, it was amended in 2023 to bring it to 3% by the 2029 and 30. So this is all about you should know. Besides that, the government is mainly focusing on the stimulation of the economy that was impacted by the COVID-19, and it is mostly being done by the public capital expenditure that is done by the government, because already we know that this private investment that has been clouded by the factors like the high inflation and a poor monsoon and uneven consumption demand. So we know that whenever the people don't have the money, how they will go for the more and more consumption. If I don't have the money, how I will go for the different need, the fulfillment of different need. If I will not go for the fulfillment of my need, the money will not go into the market, because I don't have the money, I will not buy. If I wishes to go for the any travel, but I don't have money, how I will go? So if the people don't have the money, if there is a poor monsoon, it means that the farmers doesn't have money for the expenditure, so there will be the less expenditure and there will be the less investment into the economy. Still, there is the hope that this fiscal deficit can be reduced, because still there are the many ministries such as the agricultural and the rural development ministry, consumer affairs. They all in the combination, they are about to, they have the extra. They don't have reach its budget expenditure, and they have extra 1,03,000 crore rupees, and this will come back to the government locker, and by that there will be the reduction into the fiscal deficit. Because, but this is the case of the concern, because whenever you are allotted with the money and you are not able to spend, this means that there is the issue in the planning. So we have to be very careful about the spending targets and planning, so that we cannot be such thing of the we are not able to meet the spending targets. There is the need of the money, but the government ministry, they are not able to spend. This is the case. Look, 1,03,000 rupees, crore rupees, that is with the these ministries and the department. So this is all about from the this news article. Next important news that we are going to take is the flight from the fatigue, and this is talking about the DGCA must ensure regulatory norms are the enforced, and it is for the safety consideration. So what is the main case? Recently we saw that there was the notice from the Directorate General of the Civil Aviation, DGCA, and it is the regulatory bodies, regulatory authority. Okay. So it is the body that regulates the safety and different standard and procedure and other such thing with the civil aviation. So it is basically this notification was with respect to the safety measure of the pilots. The pilots' fatigue has been continuously high. We have seen that the number of the aeroplanes flight has been increasing, because we are talking to increase the number of the airport into the tier 2, tier 3 cities. We want to increase the air travel and yes, connectivity. In the case, there is need for the more and more pilots, more and more aircraft, and if you are not increasing the number of the pilots, because it will increase the expenditure of the airline industry, they want to save, and due to the saving, more saving, intention of the more saving, they cut the number of the employees such as the pilots. And in the case of the pilots, number of the pilots are reduced, their workload will increase. If there is the need for the 200 people and 100 people are doing, that there is need for the 200 people, they have to work for the 10 hours, and only 100 people are doing, so they have to work for the 20 hours, 18 hours, 15 hours, and in that case, they don't, or they are not that much healthy, their mental condition is not good. And we have found that there has been the accidental cases, such as there was the accident of the prominent leader, there was the accident of our army chief general. So we have seen such accidents because it was due to the fatigue, there was the a lack of the safety standard for those pilots. So this regulation, this notification was to address the fatigue among the pilots and the professional, and it was into the professional and the scientific manner. It wanted to regulate the timing, the night duty, the continuously night shift work. All this thing was regulated. So it was provided for the more shift. It defined that the night duty should be the what should be the hour. It should be the 12 to the 6. And yes, it was the airline to file the regular fatigue report so that they can know that what is the condition. But this airline industry, they come together and they created the pressure on the DGCA, and after that there was the civil aviation requirement documents that comes from the DGCA, and it's allowed these airline industry to you should go without the following this standard, and in the future we will implement that. The main logic was that if we will increase, if we are going to follow all these norms, then there will be the need for the 15 to 25% more pilots. And in that case, our expenditure will increase, our flight could be cancelled if there is the lack of the pilots due to, if we have to reduce the number of the hours for their work, and if we are going to give the more rest. So these are the things. The thing you should consider that how much we are lacking. 50 years back, 50 not, even the 75 years back into the 1950s itself, the International Civil Aviation Organization, this is the regulatory authority at the international level. Okay, this is the specialized body of the UN, and it provided the limit the flight and the duty hour of these pilots on the safety consideration. So these standards ensured that the fatigue did not endanger the flight operation. And even now we are talking about the fatigue risk management system, and this will use the scientific principle and aviation scheduling to manage the fatigue. So this has been made it to compulsory for the fatigue risk management system for the all civil aviation airlines to follow. But still we are not going to implement that. That maybe cause a lot of concern for the safety of the not the pilots but the people as well. So what is the need of our? Because we know that in the future there will be the more and more need for the more airlines, air flight, more route will be there, increase in the airports, more number of the footfall for those who are traveling by the air. In that case, it is the responsibility of the DGCA that please try to bring these standard and the norms so that the safety can be ensured. We cannot take the risk of the not only with the pilots but those who are the passengers, because we know that in the case of the accident, air accident, there is very less chances of the survival. Normally, if there will be the road accident or the railway accident, there is still chances that a lot of people survives. But in the case of this air travel and accident, there is that are very they are the very fatal. Okay. Now we should know the basics about the International Civil Aviation Organization. When it was formed into the 1994 pre-independence era. Okay, and headquarter Montreal into the Canada. So we should know that there is the Montreal Protocol to save the depletion of the ozone layer, because ozone layer provides the safety from the dangerous and the risky rays. So please remember, Montreal is the capital. Okay, what is the main authority, main duty? Its main duty is to bring the standard and recommended practice that should be implemented for at the international level and across the world. Okay, it's ensure the safety, and it's ensure the security and environmental audit also being done by this authority, ICAO. Okay, so please be very careful about this basics information about the International Civil Aviation Organization. Our authority, this is the Directorate General of the Civil Aviation. You should know about this as well. So what is the same area where it's worked? Beside that, you should know that it was established under the Aircraft Act of 1934. So again, it is the pre-independence era body. Beside that, it has the responsibility of the regulating the air transport service and yes, safety and security of the different personnel working into the aviation industries, provide the license and approval for the pilots and the different other personnel that are working for the in the aviation industry, like the air traffic controllers, aerodromes. Okay, all this thing is there. Regulation, where the regulation develops and enforce the regulation and the standard and procedure. Beside that, it also do the investigation in the case of the accident as well. So here it will do the investigation when there will be the aviation accident. Okay. Beside that, it will also promote the research so that there could be the improvement into the safety and the efficiency. Its headquarters is into the New Delhi, so you should remember. Now the Director General Arun Kumar. Remember all these things, that is important for the prelims. Okay. Next important news that we are going to take is the interaction and the relationship between the human and dog that has been in the news due to the attack and mauling of the children, dog by the children, mauling of the children by the dog. And there has been the continuous attack, there has been the so many other issues that has been seen into the public domain, and there has been the recent case where one of the famous businessman who was being attacked by the dog and he died. After that, there was the news media, and in news media there was the negative sentiment that was spread across against the dog. So this is the case. So the demand for the now is going on for the culling, the mass killing of the dog. So this is the solution that is in the question, that do we need to kill all the dog or eliminate the dog? That is the only solution. So here this article is talking about no, there is no such a single relationship. There has been this relationship between the dog and animal. This is the motivational as well. Motivational means situational. Maybe there could be the like the man or the other animal. The mood, the motivation can change from the one individual to the other individual. Same is the case with the dog as well. So where we need to focus, the main focus area should be on the research in ecology and public health and canine behavior and urban dynamics. So all this thing, if we will understand, we should know that what is the behavior of these animals like the dog, how they are behaving in aggressive manner, public urban dynamics. So how the urban population and urban settlement, all that is changing. Public health as well as research in ecology. What type of the climate, what type of the situation, weather, such as the heat wave or the, in that case, what is the behavior of the animal. All that need to be researched and analyzed. And after that, we will find that generally the relation between the dog and animal is very ordinary. They just they are like the pet, they feed, and also many a times like the ignore. We ignore the dog, so dog ignores us as well. This is the normal relationship. Okay. But the thing is that the dogs, like the any animal, including the human, have the motivations. Okay. And that is not always clear to each other. Maybe I am going through the path, there is a dog, we don't know what he is thinking, he don't know what I am thinking. In such a situation, we should be very careful that when the situation became worse, we should be facing as per the that situation in a productive manner. So this is the thing that has been here mentioned. Here it has mentioned that one of the prominent businessman from the Ahmedabad, he was attacked, and there was a lot of news media that was against the dogs, and then there has been the demand for the culling of these dogs. Okay, so can we kill all the dogs? That is the solution. So this is not the solution. The most important example in this regard is the in United Kingdom. There was such a situation, the same situation when the large number of the dog became menace for the city. Okay, so they tried to kill, mass killing of the dogs. But the thing is that the dogs were replaced by the fox. And now the fox are more dangerous. They are more. They are creating more issue into the area. So this is the thing that we shouldn't replace one by the others. That is the more dangerous. Okay. So what we need, the first thing we need to the response should be as per the different situations, such as in the case of the increased number of the rabies, we should focus on that. increase number of the bite, we should focus on that. Public feeding, if they become issue, you should focus on that. Nuance and other things. So one size fit is not the solution. The solution is that what is the issue that is faced by the same the colonies or the area. We will apply the solution as per the demand. Okay. Most important thing is that we should focus on the access to the post-exposure treatment and anti-rabies vaccination. So in the case of the, if there is the dog bite, the casualty can be reduced. That should be the focus area. So here again it has given that the intervention should be tailored to the local context. That is the main demand, that should be the main focus area. Okay. Beside that, what should be the focus area? The dogs increase in the area where you will find that the waste management is not good, and the situation, the chaos created in those areas where the solid waste management is not proper. So we should focus on the solid waste management as well. Okay. Besides that, the public education program is very important, so that the we can teach, we can educate people, and particularly children and the elderly people, that whenever there is the attack from the dog, how you have to protect yourself. If you are well educated, you know you have the training, you are well aware of the condition, how the dogs behave in the different situation, you can tackle the issue in much better manner. Okay. So here what we need, so human-dog conflict should be viewed as the civic issue. This is the issue because we are not able to manage the different area of the society. And yes, so we need to focus on the how the settlement should be there, how should be the waste management should be there, how should be the different the dump area where we throw our waste and other such things should be managed. So overall, this need a holistic perspective. Then we can tackle this issue of the dog and human conflict that is particularly in the many of the cities that has been become very dire. Okay, so this is all about from this news. Next important news that we are going to take is with respect to this Matua community, and they are belonging from the West Bengal. Okay, and here the Matuas, they belong from they have a separate sect, and we will see that where they belong. They are celebrating this Citizenship Amendment Act because they feel that there will be the fair chances for them to get the citizenship, because they are waiting for the last 50 years for the such act. Okay, so here it is given that there is one of the case study where one of the person Sadanand, he is happy and he is taking that this is better for our community. So you should know the main thing that you should know for the prelims perspective, what is the origin of the Matua community. So it was founded by the Hari Chand Thakur, and it was a type of the reform movement against the Brahminical Hinduism. So he challenged the Brahminical Hinduism, he was against the caste system, and particularly it was from the lower caste. They challenged the hierarchical position and status of the Brahmins and other upper caste. So here from that the sect separated itself from the Hindu community. Okay, so this is the history, and they have been continuously migrating into the India from the Bangladesh. Previously it was the East Pakistan. Okay, so here he believes that this CA that is not provided for the Muslim because they are not persecuted and they are not deserving to immigrating to India. Okay. So that's why many of the Matua community, they are supporting this stand of the union government not providing the citizenship amendment relaxation to the Muslim community. Okay, so this is the main thing you should know, the basics about this. Further it has giving that reaching out the Matua community, there has been the politics behind that. The Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, and his party Trinamool Congress and BJP both want to reach out to the Matuas community because their number is, they have a large number. Besides that, in the state there is the politics of polarization is going on because there is a good number of the Muslim population as well. It is the 27% of the total population, and that's why there is chances of the more polarization. Okay, so this is all about from the this all that has been mentioned, that how despite few of the Matuas community, they are not able to handle the application form, and many think that is confusing, like the how they will get to the certificate for their religion, whether they feel that they are Hindus or the Matua sect. So they many of them has said that we are first Matuas and then Hindus, means they associate themselves with the Hindu community. Okay. Next news that we are going to take is the after India's biggest jailbreak. Here it is the story of one of the Maoist member of the Maoist Party of India. And yes, Maoist, he was the Maoist cadre, and he has recorded that there was the jailbreak, and in that he participated. So let's see about the how what was all about the this case study. So here it is given that the of the Ajay Kanu. Now he is a normal member and he want to live a normal life. Now he has not association with the any of the such group, Naxalite group, despite he was the Naxal commander. Okay, so this is the story of him. So already he has spent near about 18 years into the prison. Okay, so the story of this man is that he belonged from the Bihar, and yes, he was from the one of the extremely backward caste, and he faced different tragedy like the killing of own his father, his brother, his cousin, and after that he found that the support from the Maoist cadres, and after that he joined the Maoism. He was very well educated and he was graduate. He was well into the ideology, well known into the ideology of the communists, and that's why he reached to the higher ladder of the communist that power hierarchy. Okay. So he was into the jail, and after that there was the jailbreak, there was attack and the jail, and he was out. Okay, again he was arrested after 5 years. Okay, so this is the case of the 1990s and the 90s, and 2000, around 2000. So here it is given that when there was the jailbreak, he even reportedly used the AK-47 and he killed two commanders of the Ranveer Sena. This Ranveer Sena was built up by the upper caste militia. So you should know some of the basic about this Ranveer Sena, who were they and how it was formed. So this Ranveer Sena, they were formed into the 1994, and it was into the Bihar, and it was formed by the upper caste group. Okay, so it was formed by the upper caste, and those who consider themselves at the landed caste, those known as the Bhumihar into the Bihar. Okay, so the ideology of this Darvish Sena was the anti-left and anti-Dalit, and focus on the upholding the caste hierarchy, that there should not be the change, whatever the hierarchy that is going on, that should be, because they were on the highest ladder, and that's why they don't want to lose their privilege. Okay, so it was formed into the 1994, and after that there was so many massacre, the famous massacre, Bathetola massacre. You should know that what was the story. So for example, they all are the a organized killing of the Dalit. Okay, so under that, for the example, Bathetola massacre, the story is that this was the Bathetola, the name of the village. In this village, there were the Dalits and there were the Bhumiyar, those upper caste, and the Dalits were working into the field of the Bhumiyar. Okay. So one day is someone from the one of member of his that community from the Dalit, they went to the Mumbai and they find that the job is much better and the living condition is much better here. So he come back and he said to the community fellow members that yes, there is the better opportunity in the Bombay. We should go to the Bombay. Here there is the exploitation, lot of exploitation by the hand of this upper caste and this Jamidas caste. Okay. So those who were working into the field of this Bhumihar, they decided to go to the Mumbai. So one day, when they were in the morning, they were going to for the catch the train for their journey to the Mumbai. On that very morning, these members from the Bhumihar community, particularly from the Ranbir Sena, they come and they suited near about the 2025 of those Dalit who were migrating to the Mumbai. So this is the case of the one of the case of the Batetola. Mostly such cases was there, and that's why after that there was the counter reaction by the Dalits and in the form of the anti-left, and that's why the Maoism flourished into the Bihar. Later it shifted to the Jharkhand. Okay. So here the thing is that the Maoists used and utilized this condition, this situation of the society. Okay. Here about the Kanu, he aims to work for the development of the 110 caste under the category. Now he don't want to be part of those groups that to use the violence. Okay, so he is already graduate from the history, and now he want to open a coaching classes. And coaching classes, already he was the part of, at the initial stage of his life, he was the part of ABVP, but he was not comfortable with the ideology of ABVP, so that's why he left this, and particularly it was due to the divisionary politics of the RSS and this group. He left this group. Okay, so here after that his journey to the Maoism, here it is given that the personal tragedy he faced, there was the killing of his brother, his cousin, his father, and after that he find that it is better to join the Maoist cadre. Okay, so even when he was into the jail, there was the fight against the exploitation that was perpetual into the jail system, and that's why there was the improvement into the condition of the jail as well. So here it is given that he organized fellow inmates and demanded better living condition into the jail as well. Okay, so Kanu conducted the hunger strike. So this is a type of the case study. You could have the better understanding after reading that what was the condition into the Bihar, why there was so much chaos into 1990s, and how the parties, political parties like the RJD and the Janata Dal under the Nitish Kumar and the Lalu Yadav, that rise, because those who are suffered from this type of the exploitation from the caste hierarchy, they supported the Lalu Prasad Yadav and his party RJD, because they provide the shelter and support to these Dalit community, Dalit caste, and the middle caste and the middle class. So this is all about from this. You could have the better understanding what was there. There is already a web series on the life of the Ajay Kanu. This is known as the Jehanabad of the Love and War. However, he is not satisfied with the final product of this series. Okay. Next important news that we are going to take from the Kerala, and it is from the Kuttanad wetland. So here we are seeing that there has been the scarcity of the water, despite it is the area where mostly there is the large number of the precipitation is there. So why there is the scarcity of the water, despite it is the part of the Western Ghat, and that Western Ghat that has the highest precipitation. Okay, so this is particularly because of the encroachment of the fresh water by the saline water, because it is below the sea level, and that's why this is unique place, because here the paddy cultivation below sea level is being done, and this is famous. Okay, here the people have to pay near about 1,000 to 3,000 per month for they have to purchase the water. Okay, so main challenge here is also from the weather pattern that is continuously changing, and this is very close to the Webnard Lake. So please remember this Webnard Lake. This is the largest wetland into the India. Webnard Lake. This is the largest wetland into the India. Please remember this. And after this, this is okay. So again, the second largest lake wetland is again into the Kerala, and the name of that lake is the Ashtamundi. Okay, so please remember the Webnard Lake and the Ashtamundi. So let me write here the Ashtamundi as well, so that you can remember. This is the first largest. Second is the Ashtamundi. Ashtamundi. It is the second largest. This is the first largest wetland, and this is the second largest. So please remember this thing, okay? What is the solution? The most important solution could be the dual water supply. One is for the drinking water and other is for the other use. Separate source for the drinking water and the other purposes to address the crisis. Okay. So here you should know that this Kuttanar, this receives the significant rainfall. But the thing is that there is the poor waste management and poor water management, and that's why the quality of the water resource is not well, despite there is the lot of chances that the due to the highest very large precipitation, there is the chances that if the water and waste management is done in a proper manner, the water scarcity can be this issue of the water scarcity can be tackled. Next important news that we are going to take is the GEM may offer the work contract. So you should know this, what is the GEM. So this is the government e-platform. This is known as the government e-marketplace, and this is a online platform so that we can purchase the public goods and services. You can use for the public procurement of the goods and services on this platform. Okay. So now we want to bring it for the enable the work contracts for the construction and the building project to be bid out through the platform, so that we can bring the more transparent mechanism through it. In the case of the, we can assess the progress of the such contracts into the construction and the building project. So this will be bring more transparency here. So you should know what is this GEM, and you can also use into the your answer whenever you are writing that what are the government steps to bring the more effectiveness into the all this procurement procedure by the government, and how they are monitoring and how transparent they are making. Already this platform is being used for the facilities such as the critical defense procurement, service like the aircraft chartering, okay, and printing of the election related material. So already this is in the being used. Now we want to expand its criteria and its footprint. So this is all about from this news. Now we will solve some of the questions that we already have covered from our discussions. Let's start with the first question. Consider following statement about the fiscal deficit in India. First, it is difference between the government total revenue and its capital expenditure. Okay. A high fiscal deficit can lead to inflationary pressure. The fiscal responsibility budget management set a target for eliminating the fiscal deficit by the 2025. Okay, so what will be the question is that how many of them are the incorrect? What will be the incorrect? Okay, so it is the difference between the government total revenue and its capital expenditure. Not only the capital expenditure, but the revenue expenditure as well. So first is incorrect. A high fiscal deficit can lead to this inflationary pressure. Yes, this is correct. So first is incorrect. So first will be the part of A, then C, and then D. But the second is incorrect. So this option and this option will not be a part of it. So 1 and 3, that will be the correct answer. So it will be incorrect because the second is correct and it is asking about the incorrect. So second cannot be in the option because second is correct and it is talking about the incorrect. So this and this will be not part of, this will be not part. By the eliminating it, we can achieve without knowing that whether third is correct or incorrect. Third is incorrect. Set a target for eliminating the fiscal deficit by 2025. So there is no elimination. We are targeting for the 3% of the GDP by 2029 and 30. So this is the government aim to achieve not the elimination but reduce the percentage. Now it is around 5.1. So government want to reduce it gradually. Question number 2, with reference to the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003, which of the following statement is not correct? Again, it is talking about the not correct. First, A, it's mandate the government to ensure transparency and accountability in the fiscal matter. Okay, it is correct. It set a target for the reducing the revenue deficit of the government. Okay, yes, it do. It allow the government to borrow unlimited funds to meet its expenditure. No, this is the thing. There is the restriction, and that's why this is incorrect. Next question, question number 3. The primary legislation under which the Directorate General of Civil Aviation is established. First, the Aircraft Act of 2020, no. The Airport Authority of India Act 1994, no. The Bureau of Civil Aviation Security Act 1984, no. The Aircraft Act of 1934, so this is the correct answer because we know that it is the pre-independence era act, and under that this authority was created. Okay. Next question, which of the following activities does not fall under the regulatory purview of the Director General of Civil Aviation, DGCA? Okay, so this is the question. Issuing license to pilots, okay, it has the power to issue the license, so this is correct. Investigating aircraft accident, we studied, we read that, yes, also this is the part. Setting air traffic control standard, okay, this is also part. Regulating the fare for the domestic airline, this is not correct because the airline, this is the fare that is based on the market dynamics. Okay, so this is not correct, this is not fixed, this is as per the supply and demand side. Okay. Question number 5. The headquarters of Directorate General of Civil Aviation is located into the Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, New Delhi. So we studied New Delhi. Where is the in the case of the International Civil Aviation Organization? It was into the Montreal. Please remember Montreal into the Canada. That is also the place where we have the on the name of there is the Montreal Protocol, that is for the reduction into the impact onto the ozone layer. So it is for the gradually filling up and preventing the any further reduction into the this ozone layer. Okay. Question number 6. Consider the following statement about the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. First, FCRA registration for the NGO must be renewed every 10 years. NGO cannot receive any foreign fund while their FCRA renewal application is in the pending. Which of the above statement is correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So here we see that it is not for the 10 years, but it is for the 5 years. So 1 is incorrect. 1 is incorrect. So we have the option of the 2 only, neither 2, neither 1. Okay, so C, B and D. Let's see on the second option. NGO cannot receive any foreign fund while the FCRA renewal application. So this is also not correct because until and unless there is the refusal or there is the again for the or they are not going to for the renewal, in that case there will be they cannot go for the receiving the foreign funds. So again D will be the correct answer. And last question, with reference to the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, consider following. First, Ministry of Home Affairs is responsible for granting and renewing FCRA registration to NGO. FCRA registration can be cancelled if the NGO is found to be acting against the national interest. So this is correct. This is the Ministry of the Foreign Home Affairs. In the case of the FEMA, it is the Ministry of the Finance. Okay. FCRA registration can be cancelled if NGO is found acting against the national interest. Okay, so this is simple. This is also correct. So C will be the correct answer. So most of the area that is relevant for the UPSC we have covered. We have covered all the related relevant question that could be asked from this area. So here we will conclude our session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.